This episode of the Council of the First Ones was recorded on February 5th, 2023. I'm shocked that we're in the new year because I forgot it's been a while. Well, before we start recording, you're like, Happy New Year. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's been a minute,
Yeah,
as
it's
they
been a
say.
minute.
Well, it was a dry January.
Yeah, well,
Well,
no,
also, I'm
actually,
very
it
busy.
wasn't. Yeah.
It's not dry here. It's been raining nonstop in Seattle. Yeah,
At least
but
it's not snow.
right. Yeah, exactly. But
Man,
yeah,
it's pretty cold here. 20-degree weather and lower than that sometimes. So
I know it's been 7 where I am, 7 and 8 all this weekend.
ridiculous. Don't they just
yeah.
know I paid my oil bill like last month? I don't need to do it 2 times. That's ridiculous. That's like a mortgage payment practically. So, yeah.
I rather have the cold than the snow.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But we did get some lovely things. But I heard there was problems with the Mondo figures that just came out with
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a
them
little bit
breaking.
apparently.
yeah. It's really unfortunate too because
Yeah.
they've been working. So there's so many very very talented and creative people working on these toys. These very detailed, beautiful looking figures, and suddenly people get their figures in the mail, and some of them have an issue where the He-Man figure will fall apart in that it right at the waist. The peg will disconnect from the top half, I believe is what's going on, and so they'll end up with a He-Man figure that's cut in half essentially. And so but yeah, I'm really happy with the way Mondo's tackling this. They're ordering new replacement figures so that they can swap out the bad ones that have been identified. Same with the Shira problem, that where some Shira figures had a kind of a little bit of a squashed nose. They've already started to swap out the heads, sending people replacement heads.
Wow. Normally their quality's way up there, but I'm glad they're doing something right away, not waiting
Yeah.
and coming up
Yeah.
with excuses.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't heard any excuses. It's been proactive in, anybody who has one with a problem, they have you on the list to get a replacement figure. And I was also hearing even last night that they're even maybe going to be putting parts available that you can pick them up if there's a part that went wrong or whatever. Don't quote me on that. I don't know anything from Mondo itself, but apparently that's something now that is a possibility as well, which that's actually kind of cool if they're going to go there just to
Yeah.
keep the customers happy. But I know David did a review video around Christmas time, so he got
Yeah.
his, and then I got mine in January. And I took some time last night because I have had a crazy schedule since the holidays. And last night I was downstairs. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna actually like mess with this. And if it ends up being a problem, I'll reach out to Mondo like Monday morning, basically.
Mhm.
Twisted at the waist, nothing popped apart. The other thing that has been a problem, it's been if it doesn't twist apart and the top and the top half doesn't meet with the peg.
Mhm.
The other option that has happened is the internal bit of the torso will pop the whole way out because the adhesive didn't cure properly. So
Mhm.
you'll get all of the internal of the top part of He-Man stuck to the peg, and you're left with the shell of the torso and the arms and the head.
Hmm.
So that one, I know a friend of mine had that problem, and he's over in Sweden, so he just got epoxy and fixed it up that way, and it worked for him. But yeah, I was really, really lucky with mine. No problems, twisted it at the waist, no problems. All of the accessories came nicely. I know there were some people that had issues with the shields even and stuff. Mine was 100%. So I feel bad for anybody who did get a bum one, and hopefully they're in the process of getting a good one because it's a great
Yeah,
figure.
it's
It is a
beautiful.
really great figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks it. I mean, I wish I could have afforded it, but I couldn't at the time. But I'm glad both of you are enjoying it.
I
The
was.
worst part, the worst part for me is I didn't even put the extra accessories on him yet. I just kept them as He-Man and have the power sword, and that's it. Just because I'm like, yeah, I got it. It didn't fall apart.
Yeah.
I'm happy. And then like last night was my let's really check this out, and everything looked great. I actually
Nice.
can't wait to get the battle armor on him because that's the other variation that I was really excited to put him into pretty soon.
It's such a beautiful figure. I'm really glad that you didn't have any issues with yours.
You
And
didn't with yours either, if I remember right, or
just I noticed that the paint kind of rubs off fairly easily, and
yeah, yeah.
and it's kind of like, well, okay, so the paint's a bit delicate, and so you want to treat it like a statue, but you don't. You want it. It's such a toy. You want to pick it up and
Yeah,
play with it and switch out the armor
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
defeat Skeletor.
It's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation because I see them as statues. Even though I would
Yeah,
want to play with them, they're just too gorgeous to touch.
yeah.
So that's the way I felt when I first saw the classics too.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, those
Yes.
can't be toys. Those are statues.
It's funny. I've played with the Mondo one more than like when I get classics. I'll pose them in one pose and I'll put them on the shelf, and that'll be that for quite a long time. Mondo, I'm here like messing all over the place with it, and just going, yeah. I'll be the guy that breaks it by accident. And go like, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
reach out the Mondo because it's my fault. That's all on me. But
Yeah,
no, I agree. Like they look like they should be statues on the shelves, and
Yeah.
I mean they even give you like the stand and everything, so it makes it have that collector quality vibe about it and everything, which is really nice too.
Such a nice piece. It's and I was very lucky to get mine as a gift from Mondo. And looking at all these other figures they're going to be coming out with, I'm thinking like, there's just no way. There's no way I can't do it. I can't collect this toy line, this statue line, right? I'm not Richie Rich or Donald Duck or yeah, Donald Duck.
Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge
yeah.
McDuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm see that's the thing. I'm in a little bit. And I don't know how far I'll go, but I am definitely happy with the He-Man, especially like I said, mine had no problems. Oh, and another thing I wanted to say real quick is a friend of mine got he got his reissue from Mondo
Hmm.
for that one, and there is a sticker they put on it that says
Oh
it's
yeah.
like QC checked or QC approved or something. So that
Right.
way, if you get a new one, you know someone's taken a look at it. Everything's good to go. You should have no problems at that point. And I reached out to him and I was like, so is everything good to go? And he's like, it's beautiful. I have no problems. I'm like, great. So they are trying
Awesome.
to take care of the fans and the collectors. I'd be a little curious if they do say what could have been about that though, because it is crazy how much that was happening, at least in the social media. But at the same
It could
time,
have
it's
been
like at least they're fixing it, you know? So
it could have been a change in the materials at the factory,
yeah,
and they might have not been aware that they were changing materials.
it could be that. The other thing that I was curious about is whether or not it had to do with like the holidays, because these were supposed to be starting to ship and be delivered like now.
Hmm.
Originally, it said February or March of 2023, and that's when I was expecting it. And all of a sudden, at the end, literally around Christmas time, people start getting it's like, well, that's not what I was expecting. Everybody was happy about that, but then it's like you come into
But
the
it
problems, though.
but it could have
Yeah.
gone with the curing time of the glue or something like that.
Yeah,
That it,
I don't know, but
yeah,
if
because
if
there's
you
so many
manage to
variables that could
the
have.
weather, maybe, who knows? I mean, these are getting shipped out and they're in the cold, and who knows if that stuff gets brittle and then that's part of the problem. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
But
But
I've
Yeah.
got to applaud Mondo for being very proactive,
absolutely.
unlike a certain toy line with the green goddess with exploding crotches.
Classics. Mattel's
Uh,
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. I still never picked that figure up because of that problem.
I'm, surprisingly, I was able to get 2 of those goddesses, and neither one of them had that problem.
I'm
Because
still
one I customized to look more like the mini comic,
nice.
Okay.
where I turned around and got the 24 karat gold paint to really glam her up.
Nice. I think it was said that if the line had continued, that a new goddess figure was planned to be in one of the waves very soon after it was canceled.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness we got her in what Origins, and it would be awesome to see her in Masterverse. I can't wait to dig into all those Masterverse coming out.
Yeah, I can see her making her way into Masterverse because she's a reuse of a lot of the female parts from Tila, like
Right?
99.9999%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well,
it would be an easy reuse, basically a repaint.
Hmm.
and going back real quick, I think Mondo even alluded to the fact that she's on the list of up and comings too. Like
What?
they had Tila, but there was a picture that they did of the face of Green Goddess
Wow.
at one
That.
point. So that made me go, well, then Tila's got to be right around the corner because that's an easy
Yeah.
reuse. And then they unveiled Tila first, but maybe that'll be an option that you can do with Tila or something because they didn't really show many accessories with her reveal at Designer Con.
I could totally see that. Yeah, just like how they did Anti-Eternia He-Man.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I fell for that one. I, when the like timed exclusive, there's I think they said 1,500 available and all this stuff, and then you see the translucent battle armor. I was like, oh, you're killing me!
It's
This is
so
so
good.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
They
So
know
yeah, I fell for it.
how to get us in.
Well, they didn't at first. I mean, I still was not a huge fan of the beginning of that line because they went too far from what I wanted to see if they did
Yeah.
He-Man and Skeletor. But then when they showed the deluxe He-Man, I was like, okay, this is what I wanted at the beginning, and now I'm so screwed.
Yeah, because in the beginning, I mean, I remember Merman, how way out he was. I'm like, no, that's not me.
Mhm. The Man at Arms was amazing. He was like the best marriage of like the original Man at Arms in 2000X rolled into one for me. So that's one that I do have to go backwards and try to get on the secondary market someday. But
Hmm.
I got too many in front of me. I got to figure out first.
Right.
So,
Oh, you know what, Sean? I've been meaning to ask you. Do you have the CGI Castle Grayskull playset that lights up and stuff?
I do not,
Don't.
not yet. I do want to get it for my son at some point.
Well, I just ordered 3 of them on eBay for $35 each, so I'll send you one.
Well, then I'll send you $35.
No,
That
no,
sounds
just
pretty
a
easy to me.
gift. It's fine.
Oh,
Just
well,
yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, because my son, when I found out they were doing it, which made me really happy because I really liked the aesthetic of that in the show. And I showed it to him, and his eyes lit up, and he goes,
Yeah.
"Daddy, I need to put that next to yours." And I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna have Plastics Castle Grayskull, and we're gonna have CGI right next to each other. They're gonna be neighbors. It'll be cool."
Awesome. Yeah. It does look
But
like
I'm
a really cool
hearing
place.
that.
Yeah.
That's showing that the new generation is getting into He-Man.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I'm I'm tangenting, so I'm sorry here, but the okay, so the other week on Instagram, there was a post that showed concept art for the CGI show, but it was stuff that we hadn't even seen yet.
Mhm.
And I got excited. I shared it with my co-host on Legends of Grayskull, Matthew Dooch, and we did an episode about it. And they put out the art of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe for the CGI series. First off, it's a beautiful book. Lots of great information, lots of great character designs, locations. They even show you how they broke down what they wanted to do with the weaponry, like the power sword, all the way down to just here's Ram Mam's grappling hook. And here's what
Hmm.
we thought of it. And it's like, holy crap, the amount of thought they put into all of this stuff, which was
Wow.
crazy. But the best part was when you get to the end, they're like, you might not want to flip to the end of the next two pages, but if you really want to get an idea of what we want to do next season, and it's like whew, right over the
Wow.
Horde. So they have all the major Horde members showing up. So Montana was shown, Rat Trap, Grizzlor, Modulok, Leech were all shown, and then they're going to deal with Marlena finally.
Huh.
So
Yeah, I
they're
saw
definitely
a picture
going
of
there finally.
Elena.
Yeah. So she's going to be involved. Dispara is going to be chasing the heroes now,
Hmm.
and Cyclone and Stondar are going to be showing up.
Wait a minute,
Oh,
I'm just like,
Despara's in
this
there?
is crazy. Like, this is so crazy. Like,
Oh my
this show
god.
is going all these different ways. And I'm really loving the fact that, like, they're legit going to Earth, but they have a reason to go to Earth. It's not just, oh, Gwildor just messed everything up and now we're on Earth. It's like they're going to Earth because they need to find Marlena. And that
Wait.
automatically had me go, I got to see this season. Like, they got to
Yeah.
keep making this show.
They better make it.
Well,
Oh.
it sounds amazing, but you said that Despara's going to be in it. So are you saying that they've got She-Ra now in the CGI series?
I would like to believe possibly, but I honestly don't know because they just said Despara is going to be chasing the heroes to Earth. So basically, they showed them in like Earth clothing. They had
Whoa.
they had Tila, they had Adam, they had Duncan, Keldor, and Marlena, and they were all in Earth clothing. And
Wow.
apparently, Despara is chasing them to Earth because Marlena is the key to figuring out how to defeat Hordak for some reason.
I really hope
And
that's She-Ra.
if they make it Shira, that would be cool because they've always alluded, and they even bring it up even in that art book. The whole Marlena looks pretty down in the dumps. She looks really sad about something. There's that
Mm.
empty space on that couch where the
Mm.
portrait is painted.
Yep.
There's a pillow
So,
there representing someone should be
oh,
there
oh,
right
oh,
next
she
to
wants to
Adam.
buy a new dog, right?
So but yeah, I'm just a tangent really quick on that one. It's like that, and then I was showing my kids that. My kids were just like they couldn't get over a lot of the designs of it and everything. And I still got to get my son to watch season 3 with me because he started a little bit, but then he like trailed off a bit because it works better when he watches 1, 2, 3, like almost in order
Mm-hmm.
instead of how they dropped them. So
Oh yeah.
I kept on alluding to it. I'm like, hey, we never finished season 3. I finished season 3, but you don't know what's about season 3. And he's like, well, what happens? I go, Skeletor. I'm like, you gotta find out what happens with Skeletor. So that's my plan in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we're gonna get back into it. And
Nice.
he really enjoys that show. So that's
Cool.
again, it's passing it to the new generation, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep. And that
That's
show was wonderful.
Absolutely. I love that I don't know all the answers. And I love that surprises like that where they go to Earth now. It's like
Yeah.
that makes me happy for once. That isn't like they couldn't afford filming it. That's like well, they're coming to Earth now and there's a cool reason in the story they need to come to Earth. How cool is that? Like
That's so
so.
cool.
And on top of that, now it's like, well, Adam is definitely half Earthling because his mom's an astronaut from Earth. They're going legit with that.
Right.
It's not just all Eternia.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. So
I really I do like both shows, but I like that this show has a lot more ties to the lore and paying respect to all these different aspects of Masters of the Universe compared with the She-Ra Netflix series, which again was a fine show. A lot of people
mhm.
worked hard on it, but this one seems to focus more on uh, you know bringing back elements of the original stories, and like you said, like Dispara, and not just the original content, but even newer things like Dispara. That whole concept, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me at least, the main thing, like Revelation was fine. I don't have an issue with it. I was definitely
Mhm.
not one of those people that hated it and was lashing out on social media. But
Yeah.
my biggest problem with that show still stems from the idea of it's a show that already started and we never got to see the beginning of it, even though they say it was supposed to be the
A,
next
contin- a
the
continuation.
continuation. That was not a great thing for him to say because it didn't feel like a continuation to me the way that a continuation should feel. I felt like it's like coming home, but your home is now a modern home instead of the
Yeah.
childhood home that you had. And my biggest problem with that show was they never established the rules in the story they were telling to make them pay off because like all of a sudden every time one bad thing would happen, you're like, well, that sucks. Skeletor has a power source. And all of a sudden, no, evil Lynn just seduced Skeletor. Now she's got the power source. Now where are they going with this? Oh, everything doesn't matter, and she wants to destroy everything. Well, that's a whole different story than I thought we were going to just have He-Man and Skeletor duke it out at the end. Okay, we're
Yeah.
going here now. And it's like there was a lot of rules that I felt like I needed to understand what their rules were for this story, and that just never meshed for me. But in this, I enjoy the fact from the beginning on, it feels like they're following the rules and what they're setting up, and you
Right.
don't sit there and go, wait a minute, or whatever. And I appreciate that on a whole like storytelling level at least.
Yeah.
doesn't
So
doesn't feel
Well,
rushed.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
exactly.
That second half felt like they were trying to cram 15 episodes in the 8,
Right.
Yeah.
and they didn't allow anything to really develop.
Hmm.
And they spent
Exactly.
way too much time on the first part. We didn't
Hmm.
need that long walk.
Yep. Exactly. Well, and they've got 5 more episodes, with this Revolution miniseries they're going to come out with, and hopefully they'll learn their lessons from all the feedback from the original
Yeah.
episodes, and they'll give us something that's even better.
Uh, I
Well,
I will admit, when I got Mondo He-Man, I actually like watched the last episode of Revelation because I'm like, well, that's the most He-Man you're getting, so I put that on. Well, I have Mondo He-Man. I'm just like, it works. It's so
Nice.
well,
cool.
our He-Man drought might be coming to an end again. Maybe that in a movie year is finally happening because Netflix did announce they are starting to film the He-Man movie come April.
Cross my fingers and toes, knocking on wood.
I mean, luckily, Netflix has a good reputation with the sci-fi
Hmm.
and fantasy genre. I mean, who they have playing He-Man, he was the lead actor from West Side Story. Hopefully he worked out. Maybe they've got a Marvel trainer to pump him up because he was a little scrawny in West Side Story.
Right.
I mean, he's got the body for Adam, but not He-Man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's still hope.
I'll be
But
curious to see what happens.
so we have things to look forward to.
Yeah,
They
there
didn't
there
give a
was
release date, but at
no,
least they're starting
yeah.
filming. This is the
Well,
closest we've gotten to a movie year
yeah.
in a long time.
In at least a decade now, huh?
I
No,
was going three
there.
decades.
Well, three. Well, true. I'll give you that. Yeah, at this point, there was a thing the other day, and I know, like, April just seems like it's too soon because we don't know who else is on the cast even. And I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to be the negative one, but it's like I kind of thought that we would have known at least who's playing the major parts before filming starts. It's kind of weird. But there was something the other day where they said, and again, grain of salt, depending what you want to believe, but they were saying Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon in the Marvel movies, is in talks to play Keldor now. So
Hmm.
that's the only other actor that's even been associated with it so far.
Yeah, and I heard that same rumor too.
But again, it's a rumor, so
Right, because
but
I figured
it's
he's going to
something
be busy
final.
with Iron Wars to be filming now,
What was he even? I
unless
think they
they
were going to
pushed it
do
back.
a Captain America movie with him in that. I didn't think he was in Iron Wars, but maybe I'm wrong.
Iron Wars is all
But
about War Machine,
no, but
his main character.
that's Don Cheadle.
Oh, that's
Anthony
right.
Mackie is Falcon, and he's
About
the new Cap
the
now.
new Captain America. But
Yeah,
I don't think they're
yeah. So
filming that yet because
yeah,
he's supposed to
maybe.
be in uh Thunderbolts as a cameo and then goes into the new Captain America New World Order. That's
Gotcha.
the lineup the MCU has. You're talking to someone who already has her tickets for the Ant-Man movie on opening night.
Nice. Very cool.
Who told her
What?
boyfriend, "You're coming with me or not, I'm going to be there."
Awesome.
But the big controversy that's going on now, though, is what is happening with the Motu toys. We had a certain YouTuber slash former brand manager saying that it looks like the Motu line is leaving retail. We've had other reports saying no, it's being refreshed and will continue. It seems like April is the big month to see if Origins and Masterverse continue.
Well, and when it comes to that YouTuber, you've got to take things with a huge grain of salt.
Right.
Um, and in terms of whether it's leaving retail, it could, I suppose. And that's a great point that you bring up that this is a could very likely be a movie year. And yeah, there's a lot of product being shown. I mean, wow. And
We just had the German Toy Fair where we
right.
had the Talon Fighter, the Motu
Yeah.
erasers, a whole bunch of things being shown, at
Yeah,
least in Germany.
all of
Hopefully, it's
those
going to come across the pond.
yeah, all of those rumored Masterverse figures and Origins figures, it's all true. The they were shown. There are no pictures, but it was shown privately to some individuals at that show.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Well, what I'm wondering, remember 2023, Universal received all the Motu rights, and now Mattel has to get the license to do it. They no longer own this. I am wondering if maybe the slowdown on the product, because at least where I am, 90% of all the Motu product is on clearance, very or on deep discount. And I'm
Yep.
wondering if they're doing some last minute negotiations or if Universal's saying, "Hey, we want a new look to the different characters or to the box." How things are working, because that could also be why we're seeing that lull and why that certain YouTuber says it's getting harder for him to find it. I know I'm having a hard time finding it. Even during Christmas, I was having a hard time finding it.
I would say, lull being you're just saying that, the existing figures that have been offered
Right.
up
Because that,
until Christmas, they're kind of being pushed to the side. Some of them are showing up on the clearance aisle.
yeah, because I'm sure what we saw at San Diego Comic-Con
Oh,
will hit retail because we are starting to see the Snake Men coming out
Yeah.
for pre-orders.
right.
I know
Well,
I'm looking. Anyone who finds a Frost in Masterverse, please PM me. I need her. She's well, I need to replace my classics. Sorry for Horseman, but Frosta does not wear gray.
I mean, I'll grab one for you. I've seen a ton of them.
Yeah, because I haven't seen any out by me yet.
Okay. I'll say that in my area, there's a ton of product around Seattle, and what I'm seeing is that at some stores there a lot of, it's like there's so much they're taking the older stuff and pushing it either to something that says clearance, but really the discounts aren't any better than they already were right now. They're, because all of them have different levels of clearance.
Right. And it also depends on if it's regular sale, because that's through the manufacturer where Mattel is making up the difference, or if it's clearance where the store itself is taking the hit.
Right.
So they're depending on how where you're seeing it, it will matter to how it's being funded.
Yeah, but I'm still seeing plenty of pegs at Target anyway. Walmart in some places they're moving product away from the toy aisle, or they're just kind of rearranging. But and I thought, whoa, that means they're clearancing them out, right? No, they're not reducing the price at all. They're being oh well, but yeah. So, but in different places, yeah, there are people saying that in some stores they're getting rid of the product entirely. And honestly, my impression is that this is normal. We've had lots of product during the winter time, during Christmas time. I was
Right.
surprised.
And this time of the year, I would expect a lull until all toys across the board.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
Because normally this time of the year, you have all these major stores going into New York to do the meet with the different companies during Toy Fair, which has now been pushed to October.
hmm,
So I think this year and maybe next year, we're going to see a lot less toys coming out right away because of that change, too.
yeah, it's a very good point. Well, and
I mean, yes, I know like Hasbro and Mattel, they will have their private shows and bring in those salespeople, the purchasers. But
mhm,
for smaller companies like Super 7 and all like that, I know they rely on these trade shows to get into the different places.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, it'll be an interesting year in that respect, for sure.
I think the collector walls in Target and Walmart will be where we're going to see the biggest hits because they're not going to be seeing new product until September, October.
Makes sense. Yeah.
My area, like, I don't get out of that much to begin with, but when I've gotten out and I've checked out Target or Walmart, Like Target, I've seen other places, and I think they were out west that were already discounting some of the Masterverse stuff to like really crazy prices, and it
Yeah, because I
only just
saw.
hit Pennsylvania like in December. So it was the very first time I ever saw like Trapjaw from Revelation for like $10 ever,
Well, I saw
and that
Sierra
really was,
was down to 7 in some of the
yeah.
posts, and
And
she just
like I
got to New
said, the most
Jersey.
of our like, well, Central PA is like we are between us and Jersey. We're the holdouts for, yeah. You see that on social media, you're not getting that for at least a year. Like that's the way it feels at least. And
Yeah.
and so like I know over at the Target that I go to, I did notice that the master section is getting narrower on the
Mm.
pegs compared to like they had to put the Avatar stuff in because of the new movie hitting, and then they still had Lightyear stuff up from the summer and all this stuff. So it's like they it was a little narrower, but they were getting new stuff in at least, and discounting the old stuff that's been there for a while. But I mean the presence is still there,
Right.
and same with Walmart. And it's funny because like Walmart is still carrying like the first and second waves of even the CGI line, which I was like, I thought we were like at least two more waves ahead of this, but I guess not. So, and again, Central PA, we're the last to get most things. So, yeah.
Well, and I really don't like spreading rumors, but if we're going to talk about the rumor, we have to remember that what was said is that there will basically be a final wave that comes out in April, which aligns to all of this news about all the toys we're talking about and the deep discount pre-orders. That's all basically set for what, April, June, something like that, and then it'll leave retail. Okay, so right now, there's a lot of people kind of panicking, saying, "Oh, they're leaving the stores. This rumor was true, and the lines are dying." But I really feel like this is normal. Again, they're
Yep.
clearancing out the old inventory that's been there a while. Some new stuff is showing up at the stores still. Like the Frosta and we've got a lot of stuff still coming. And I was surprised that. We even were given these pre-orders so soon for things like Thunder Punch, He-Man, and King Hiss and whatnot, and the Snake Men. I thought that was all going to show up this year, and so we had that, all of those pre-orders come in, and then now we're seeing pre-orders starting to pop up, starting with deep discount, and I'm sure Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store will be close behind for all of the previously unannounced stuff that we were talking about now, like the Point Dread and the new Origins figures and the new Masterverse figures. Some of which, we don't even have the names. We don't even have the full list yet. They're on deep discount. The pre-orders, some of them are, oh, this is Masterverse figure 15, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
They're
and deep
placeholders.
discount and deep discount does do that. I because I've ordered from them in the past where
Mhm.
it's just that, and if it is canceled, they'll let you know and they'll send you your money right away. So there's no fear there.
Right.
Hmm.
But like you
But
said, this is just a lull. It is expected. And figuring with all the switches with the licensing, I expected some kind of lull. And figuring they announced the movie. They're supposed to be on Amazon, a Shira series. They could be getting all those concept arts to bring those into a new toy line. And I'm sure
I
we're going to see more of the CGI toys come out when the show comes back
yeah,
because
yeah,
they were selling like crazy. Just I know the stores around me couldn't keep them in stock.
yeah. Same here. When those hit the shelves, I was having a hard time finding them myself at first. But I mean, the thing is, like, the original line lasted basically 5 years. It trailed off in '87 after the movie and all that stuff. And it's like we are already coming up on, basically 4 years of that. Because I mean, the first wave kind of was like the end of 2019, if I remember right. Because they had New for 19 on the origins, if I remember,
Right.
or am I
Because
wrong?
Renee got the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, which
That's
launched
right.
the whole
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
the Prince Adam one. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And uh, I mean, He-Man's shown in the last couple years, it is still a viable brand. It isn't something that they put it out there for a year and it went belly up. I mean, Revelation brought it back to a lot of people's consciousness again. We have Revolution coming up. We have the CGI show. We have the, like you said, the movie, She-Ra, even the Netflix She-Ra, which, to be honest, I forget that even happened because it wasn't one that I was like, wow. I
I
watched it,
I think
but
most of us Motu fans forgot about that series.
yeah, I don't feel that bad then if I'm not the only one. I mean, it had some moments here and there, but for the most part, it didn't do much for me personally. But the live action Shiro on Amazon makes me go like, I actually would show up to see that, depending how it looks and depending on the feel of the trailer and all that stuff. It's like this brand is still going, and as long as those projects aren't canceled, and Dark Horse is doing comic books again, even.
Right. They're
It's like
supposed to be coming out this month with the
it,
first issue.
yeah, absolutely. And it's like the new Eternia stuff and all that, and it's like, so honestly, and I don't want to be that guy to go like, well, if they change it all from what they gave us already and do something new, but it's like if this stuff isn't working or if this stuff is the extent of what they want to do with that right now, maybe they will come back in a year or two with, hey, we're going to do this now. But then again, how many times can you hit up collectors to get a He-Man again? Like that's the other.
Star Wars, hello.
You hear the
Transformers.
It
Star
can
Wars
go on
fans
forever.
lately that are like, Hasbro can go and sit on us.
Sure,
They're
sure.
really thrilled that there's a new Darth Vader coming out again.
Yeah.
I was just listening to that not too long ago, and it's true. Like somebody like me, depending what they do, if they brought out a new line, I might actually get into it more than I did with the previous two because those didn't work for me. Like because I'm still hung up on classics. I'm just that guy. But they do something else that makes me go, well, now Mondo has to wait. Hold on, Vicky
Yeah.
Vale, you
Well,
stop the press. But it does make me curious if they're gonna maybe just go, okay, we did all this, and maybe they finish out Origins with the final figures that they needed to release to make it legit with the vintage line or whatever. But then maybe they go, okay, we'll keep the CGI line because that line's established for that show, but maybe we'll roll it into here's a new thing, here's the movie versions now and all that stuff.
well,
I don't
there's the
know. I'd be curious.
so largely media support does help keep those toy lines alive, and it was said that a lot of the new Masterverse figures are designed off of the Revolution designs. So I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the new product is going to be supported by the Revolution miniseries that Kevin Smith's working on right now.
Mhm.
But I think
So
we'll
See if
have to
that.
wait and see.
Yeah, that's the part that the fans hate the most because
Mm,
you have the
We are
speculation of everything's
professionals at
over.
wait.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we as fans, even if they say, okay, we're gonna revisit it later and figure out what happens, we're still gonna be there when the next one hits, probably because we still
I
want to
mean,
see that line.
come on. How many times have we heard in a movie year?
well, and we've also, every year we hear, oh, they're killing the line. There's always this rumor of, oh, the
Yeah,
Origins is dying. Oh, Masterverse is dying every year.
I remember
yeah,
being at San Diego Comic-Con when Scott had the bullet, the trailer going around saying all lines must end.
uh-huh.
with Eamon's artwork mimicking the Game of Thrones. You, and everyone's like, what? Classics is ending?
It's sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've gotten used to this. The line's going to end only in a movie year. Mattel has us well trained, unlike those
Mhm.
brands over at Hasbro that seem to have new toys constantly unless they're a GI Joe.
Well, that's the one thing. If they take anything away from what they're doing right now, I really hope that one of the things they take away first and foremost is you don't shelve something that was one of your biggest brands and
Mhm.
just say we're done. That
Right.
was the dumbest thing, and I would love to meet the executive and just sit down with them and go, what the hell were you thinking? Like, I mean, just showing me there's a new He-Man that's going to be coming out made my, like I was grinning from ear to ear because it's like you're home again. The minute you see that character, you're home, whether it's Origins, whether it's Masterverse, Classics, Vintage, whatever, 2000X, every time it's like you're bringing him back. That's the thing that I love the most. It
Right.
doesn't matter to me like Origins wasn't my thing. Masterverse, it's got some things I like and some things I'm like, So, but it's still like at least He-Man's still out there, and so it's like don't just shelf this from now on. Find a new way to reinvent it or to do something else with it. Because for the love of God, how many versions of Transformers have been out there? Freaking Ninja Turtles and stuff. And I love Ninja Turtles, but I'm like, how come Ninja Turtles is allowed to have X amount of reinventions now, and even having a movie this year again. And He-Man's barely gotten off the ground after 40 years. Like we're
Right.
treading water still, needing to go further with it.
It,
So
it'll continue on.
I hope so, because I mean,
Absolutely.
at least with the collectibles, like Mondo doing what they're doing, Tweeterhead doing the statues and things,
Mhm.
it's like there's definitely in the collector market at least, they know that's a viable brand and they want to keep getting that licensing to keep making this stuff that people want to buy because this is important to the people that love it.
Right.
So I'm hoping
And
Mattel just goes, yeah, we'll keep it going through that. Yeah.
I mean, Master of the Universe as a brand has gone through a tremendous amount of growth in the last few years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's been recognized by Mattel as an official mainline brand of that company.
Hmm.
Uh, I know that you've got a time crunch, Sean, and I don't want to keep you, but I did want to mention that, as soon as I saw that rumor appear about, Motu possibly, leaving retail and I've really felt like there was a lot of in subsequent messages, this message of the lines are dying. Uh, my source assured me that that's not true, and there was a message reply on Facebook from Mattel when somebody said, "Is it true the rumor that Origins and Masterverse, or I don't know if they were just referencing Origins, was going to die this year?" And Mattel said that they have lots of product to bring us in 2022 or 2023 and beyond.
Hmm.
So, there will be more, and I mean, and we're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of new product being thrown our way
Yeah.
right now.
Well, look at on February 14th, there's that mystery Motu reveal. No one knows what it is. It's just a countdown that says February 14th, Motu, with a bunch of question marks.
Hmm. Well, and we're gonna get a Snake Mountain. That was another thing that was
Yeah.
on display at the toy show in Germany, and
Well, it was also announced at the Motu Influencer Day
right, right, yeah, and
because
we've seen it, and
Pixel Dan brought it to us.
yeah, so most likely that's going to be a retail offering,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised if that was I mean, I don't know, you can't. how often do they want to offer us Point Dread and Snake Mountain this year? I mean, it would be great to get Snake Mountain as like a Christmas offering, and then Point Dread could show up anytime, I
I
think.
would say Point Dread would be more of the summer,
Yeah.
the end of the school year, where you might have some buying gifts. But definitely, I could see Snake Mountain would have to be during the Christmas time when people are going to spend the more money on toys.
Well, and I guess my point was that, an offering as large as Snake Mountain would really have to be retail. You don't want to offer the playset as just a Mattel Creations exclusive.
Yeah. I mean, it was one thing with Eternia being an exclusive because of how big it is,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but Snake Mountain is iconic, where I'd say the average Joe or Jane would know Snake Mountain just like they know Castle Grayskull,
Yep.
but not the average person would not know Eternia's playset.
So I think when it gets time to be like Christmas time, we're gonna be very excited for Revolution from Kevin Smith, and all the related product that's going to be coming out from for Masterverse from Revelation. We're going to be excited for Snake Mountain, and by Christmas time, maybe we will have received announcements of more figures, more waves. I think that's what we have to look forward to. If I had to
Yep.
kind of look into my crystal ball.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a lull where, as the license gets straightened out, if it hasn't been already, which I'd say it has, Universal setting down their new rules of what they want from Masters of the Universe. Because don't forget, we have the Mattel amusement park supposed to be opening in the summer in Arizona,
Yeah.
and Castle
Mhm.
Grayskull is the laser tag arena.
That's incredible.
Yep.
So there must be already agreements in place. And who knows, maybe we can go down to Florida and run into He Man as we run into Shira at Universal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we have to think positively.
Uh, Definitely. I think this year is going to be potentially the brightest yet for Masters of the Universe.
I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Council of the First Ones. Till next time, good journey.
And this is David Clark, owner of AdultCollector.org. I'd invite everybody to check out the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fans group on Facebook. Good journey, everybody.
And this is Sean Scavarna. If you want to hear any more Motu talk, Masters of the Universe talk, I hate saying Motu, join me and Matthew Duch on Legends of Grayskull podcast, where we talk about the history, mystery, magic, and mythology of He-Man and all the brands thereof. Until next time, good journey.
We have the power, so